Greg Tepper of Dave Campbell's Texas Football and TexasFootball.com here in beautiful Alpine, Texas, with the head coach of the Sul Ross State Lobos. It is Coach John Pearce. Coach, appreciate your time today.
Morning. Love it. I love the Sul University. Our product, what we got, it's pretty special out here.
Well, and you are now entering your fifth year here at Sul Ross, and I want to know how you'd maybe assess the program's growth. Maybe give it a state of the union, heading into the fifth year of the John Pearce.
I mean, we're still heading in the right direction. We still got some huge bumps in the road. And some challenges, but we're not. I'm not originally from Texas. Prairie View University brought me to Texas. When I walked on that campus, I was like, "Hey, this is a gold mine." Same what vision my head coach had at the time. We were both East Coast guys. Our number one goal was we were going to recruit Texas kids and turn this thing around. We did that outside of Houston. Had an opportunity to interview for the job here at Sul Ross. Got on campus. I was like, man, what a great campus. This thing can sell. I could sell this university without football. And that's still my sale pitch today, even to the recruits. We have something really special here to offer. So I came in with that vision. We recruited Texas kids. We didn't go JUCO or out of state. Obviously Division III, it's hard to get out of state kids anyhow. So we built it up. 4 years ago, I had a great senior freshman class came in. Just graduated 23 of them. They stuck through the good, the bad, till we had our first winning season and back-to-back non-losing season. So they really, I take my hat off to those guys. They followed the game plan, and they committed to the program. They graduated, which I told them would happen 4 years ago, and we're going to win some football games, and that's what happened.
I want to ask you now, go back in time to when you first got here, and you're taking over a program that was – there's no two ways around it. It was bad.
Right.
It was bad. No intense season and things, trending in a bad direction. I want to know what the first step was. We can see all the progress you've made, but what was that first step to getting this thing going in the right direction?
Discipline, first of all. I inherited a team that was averaging, 130, 140 yards in penalties, or maybe more than that. So we cracked down on that. And also emphasized, college football is not intramurals. You got to be committed. And then obviously in this conference and in this state, it's not, I know D3's got different rules, but you still got to be committed 12 months, not just, the season. So I think I emphasized that. But also it's the university, that previous school I talked about, Prairie View, they had 80 years or 80 game losing streak, 40 years of losing. You look at it, they had good coaches in between that. A lot of times it's the administration and the support. And I think that's what really happened here. Before I got here, I don't think the administration really cared about athletics, and we got a great president, Dr. Kibler. He understands athletics. He knows it's the front porch of a university. He wish he could give more money, I'm sure, just like any other president, but we got things we got to fix, and he supports our guys in our athletic program to the full.
So then what's the next step? Obviously, things have gone in a good direction so far. You were the American Southwest Conference Coach of the Year in 2016. You guys go 6-4, 5-5 in back-to-back years, which, considering where this program was, is a minor miracle. So what's the next step? How do you get to that next step?
Well, we were, like you said, when I got here, we were at the bottom of the conference. No and if and buts. Our guys worked their way up to the middle. And now we just got to go from the middle to the top. There's two schools I talk about with our players. They're purple and gold. They're the front runners, and but we got to do some work before we become a purple and gold school. And that's still even by the commitment to the university. We're getting things improved every day, but Mary Hardin Baylor has 9 GAs, I think 6 to 8 full-time coaches. Hardin Simmons has, I think, 6 full-time coaches where I have 4, so those things are going to come in time. It's not immediate. I know we're not structurally, we don't have the resources to have that yet. Those two programs have a 9-game JV schedule. I'm lucky to get one some years. So, those things, before we consistently beat a purple and gold school, we got to have those things in place. And I understand that. But we got to handle our business too. There's a lot of teams in our conference that we're even with, and we got to keep competing and staying above those guys.
You mentioned the purple and gold schools. The elephant in the room there is Mary Hardin Baylor. Yep. The 2016 national champions. A team that went to a runner-up last year. Having them in your conference do you think that's a good thing in the sense that it's a team to chase, or is it maybe it is a team you have to play every single year that's a national contender? How do you view?
I like them.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to play them. They set the bar, for Division III, all the way around from operation, not just players. I mean, we're playing with the same guys. Yeah. We're playing with all Texas guys. There's no difference. The Division I school, Alabama, may play with the best guy in Texas, the best guy in Florida, the best guy in Georgia. Right. Mary Hardin-Bailey, Hardin-Simmons, Sul Ross, Howard Payne. We're all playing with Texas football players, which is a great state. Great. That's why I'm here. Like we talked about earlier, I'm originally from the Washington, D.C. area. If I was a basketball coach, I would have never left home. I'm a football coach, and that's why I made my way here. So our guys, we can line up with them. It's just, so they set the bar high. And, I think that's what we got to shoot for. Everything I compare myself, program-wise, we got to move up this notch, got to move up this notch. But, hey, the top notch is Mary Hardin-Bailey. Yeah. Let's get to that level. And it's going to take a few years.
You mentioned you're not a Texas guy. You got here as quick as you could. You're a Maryland guy. You went to Delaware. Yep. You've coached in West Virginia and Virginia. Yep. So, here we are in Alpine, Texas. I guess the way I want to put it is, what are you doing here? Why Sul Ross State? Why is this the right fit for you?
I'm trying to graduate college football players, and in between they'll play some football games. I think this is a great sport. It opens a lot of doors for the players that go through it all. I wouldn't be sitting here without a master's degree. So that's my values. And what I try to preach to our players. Hey, this is an opportunity for you to continue playing football. I don't know how many reps or how many touchdowns, how many games you're going to start. But if you stay in it for 4 years, you're going to become a better person. You're going to graduate, and then it's going to open a lot of doors and opportunities for you. And I believe that every day. Every day I bring a recruit in. Every day I talk to my players. That's what I want them to do.
We're here at we're here in Alpine, Texas. We're the gateway to Big Bend. Nobody gets here by accident. Right. It's kind of hard to stumble upon Alpine, Texas. Recruiting has to be a bit of a challenge. I think teams in Houston or teams in Dallas or major metro areas maybe have a bit more of an advantage. How do you do that? How do you deal with the challenges of recruiting to a place like Alpine, Texas?
Well, it's relationships. And one thing is hard for us is building a great relationship with high school coaches, because all I have is Coach Fellows in my backyard at Alpine High. Yeah. So we don't get to see a lot of Friday night light games like a typical, more centrally located university. So that hurts us a little bit. But we do recruit a lot on the internet, and sometimes that's good and bad. It's kind of like a big bowl of pasta. You get all these kids here, and you throw the noodles up on the wall, and the good ones stick. But that's it. But when the kids come out here, they really like it, and they're just like you and myself. We were just shocked at what we got to offer here, and heck, in the past, our Houston kids, they stay in the summer because, we got this thing called no humidity out here. so they like it.
Yeah, I'll say, and I feel like that is, for me, if I were, playing football, I was never good enough. If you just got me out here, I feel like that's maybe your would you say that's your biggest challenge, is convincing people, just come visit us, come see what we've got to offer. Is that your biggest challenge?
Yeah, that is our biggest challenge. And then, we're the only state school that plays football. So, for next year, a student athlete or our student at Sul Ross will pay $16,500 for everything. That's tuition, room, board, meal plan, everything but your books. So we're the most affordable school. I think we're coaching the players the right way. We play in probably I argue we got the best conference in Division III. I mean, I know that one up in Wisconsin's pretty good, and there's one in Ohio's pretty good.
We're a Texas show. Let's stick with the American Southwest Conference.
So we're the SEC of football. Yeah. And you got to bring your A game every week, so you're going to have good competition. I don't care who you're playing. And so I think if you look at the big package of things and what you want to major in, if you want to be a coach, you can go to Stanford, but you can have a lot of loan debts.
Yep, I think you're exactly right. So let's look ahead to 2018. I want to start on the defensive side. You guys were third in the conference in scoring defense last year. Pretty solid, but you guys are losing your two all-conference guys. You're losing Mike Roberson or Zach Roberson and Mike Quinones. Yeah. how do you replace those guys who were so integral to kind of the turnaround, and also what is this defense going to look like?
Actually, Coach Williams was our defensive coordinator the last 4 years. He had an opportunity to move on, so I got a new defensive coordinator, Coach Veit. He's an experienced guy. He's been a head coach at Division III. He's been at the highest level, Michigan State, Wake Forest, so he's been through it all. We've changed a lot on defense, and not only faces, but in the X and O's of it. We're going to be more multiple on that side of the ball. But you're right, losing Zach Robeson and Mike Keonis is huge. Not only him, the DBs, Joe Mason, Jermaine Stevens, there's several guys. Damian Espinoza, the other inside backer, they were solid guys. And we were pretty strong up the middle, which made it, tough to play against us. However, it's like everything else. Guys graduate, so that's good. That's a good thing. So it's the next man up. LaVar Terry's had a great spring. Ronan Williams, freshman from Monaghan's last year, had a great end of season and also spring. So it's new faces, new changes, but I think it's going to be good.
What's so fun for us is that you're mentioning these names and you say the kid from Monaghan's. I'm like, oh yeah. I remember him playing at Monaghan's, and that's kind of what that I think is what's really interesting from my perspective is, you guys are so committed to getting Texas guys in here, and maybe guys who are getting overlooked, and so I kind of want to move over to the offensive side. And one guy who you inherited and as a freshman and was a 4-year starter, James Davis, your all conference quarterback. He's gone now. I guess the big question around town, what's going to happen at quarterback?
It's still open. We're trying to get someone to be consistent there. Paul Rodriguez has been his backup for 3 years. He did okay this spring, but it's about consistency. Fabian from Van Horn did a great job as well. But it's wide open, even to potential freshmen walking in the door. So we're just trying to find consistency there that James brought the last 3 years.
And one guy that is going to bring a consistency, Jordan Batson, who was as a sophomore really shined for you guys, a converted quarterback to running back. For maybe people who haven't seen him, what is it about this kid that makes him special?
Competitor, and he's a big back. He's 6 foot. I don't know, maybe 205. I don't really weigh him because once they're here, they're here. So, but I don't know, 205, I guess. He's big, physical. And he likes to compete. I had a great conversation with him yesterday. We're in the middle of our exit meetings as the season ends, and he's ready to go. And like I said, we can give him the ball. But we've been fortunate with running backs. Will Greer's still here. 3 years ago, he was, I think, the first running back as a freshman to rush over 100 yards against Mary Hardin Baylor in like 5 years. So we've been blessed with some good running backs, and I think that's easy to find in the state. There's a lot of quality backs playing football here.
One thing that's so interesting, and we were talking about this earlier, is about you walk around Alpine. And you're seeing, Brandon Lobos signs all over the place, and you're seeing, Sul Ross stuff around here. Talking football, getting excited about this program. Have you felt that? Have you felt since you've been here, the community really embrace this football team more?
They're starting to.
Yeah.
When I got here, it was a big disconnect between Sul Ross and Alpine. And I put it on my back. No one, the administration didn't tell me. I said, I'm going to go out, meet, shake hands, do what I got to do. I'm in the Kiwanis. I didn't know what Kiwanis was till I got here. So, we do stuff in the community. My team does stuff. We do, from highway cleanups to food banks. We help. The Kiwanis puts on the 4th of July celebration here. I'm involved in that. So that's one way. And I got out speaking to the community and, hey, I need you at our games. What I got to do? Hey, coach, I'd love to come watch you play. I know the success hasn't been there, but I love football. I would come watch you, but I got to keep my store open on Saturdays. So we started playing 6 o'clock games. And the main reason for that is to get the community involved. And the last 2 years at our night games, we average about 2,000 people a game, which not a lot to 6A football, but when you got a town of 6,000, it's we're bringing a third of the people out here.
It's really exciting what's going on here at Sul Ross State.
And being competitive, that helps.
Yeah.
And not only on Saturday, but even Alpine High School had success last year.
Yeah.
I think it just rolls over. It's becoming a football town again.
Yeah, it is. This is that's one thing is that we're here in this beautiful new locker room that you guys have recently renovated, and you've got All Americans up here on the wall. This is a program with pedigree, and so I feel like, and I wonder if you feel the same way. A lot of it is just saying, guys, it can be done here.
Oh, yeah.
Let's just go out there and do it.
That's it, and just do it the right way. I preach them. I got to go to class. You win with juniors and seniors. So, if you always had a freshman, sophomore team, you're always going to struggle. We have about 15 or seniors this year coming up. Our younger classmen are kind of struggled a little bit because they didn't see the field as much. We don't have a JV program consistently. So those guys get frustrated and say, hey, football's not for me anymore. But I think our next two classes, a lot of the retention will be high again, and because those guys will have that opportunity to play and compete for a spot. So I'm excited. It's not going to be an easy task because the people we play every year, there's 3 teams ranked in the top 25. And but that's the way I want it to be, though. I want to play the best.
You got to play the best. You got to be the man. You got to beat the man. And Coach, let's address the elephant in the room, which is we're out here in Big Bend country. We got these beautiful mountains all over. Where we're just about an hour and a half north of the best national park in the world. How often are you getting down to Big Bend?
I get down about once a year.
Yeah.
It took me about 8 months before my first visit. And every time I go, I was like, I got to get back. But, being a football coach is not a seasonal. I got to do it year round. Yeah. So a lot of times I don't have that opportunity to get back. Even behind our campus, we have a hill, Hancock Hill. You can walk up. There's a desk up there that football player put there several years ago, and it's kind of the tradition on campus to go up to the desk. And every time I walk up there, I'm like, I got to do this on a regular basis. But then the next thing you know, it's 6 months. I'm not the hiker, though. And it's not so much I'm afraid of the hike, it's the wildlife. Here someone can always take out something else. And good thing we're at the top of the chain, but I want to make sure I stay there.
Yeah, we're at or near the top of the food chain. He's John Pearce. He's the head coach of the Sul Ross State Lobos. Coach, really appreciate your time.
Thank you. Yep.